Hello everybody, the Lawn Gnome is here and welcome to an October 2014 Funko Pop update. I know that Halloween is right around the corner, but I'm not necessarily going to make this video Halloween themed. There are a couple of Halloween themed pops that I will definitely be showing to you, but in regards to my collection, I'm still waiting for a specific Halloween themed pop to be added to my collection so I can actually give you guys a Halloween themed popped update, and probably by after Halloween, hopefully not too far after, somewhere in early stages of November when I do a new pop update, I will have some Halloween themed pops to show to you. But today, there's more to talk about in terms of new lines, specials, expansions, etc. So before we do that, let's take a look at how my collection has been going. I'm going to say it right now, everybody. This was not part of the plan. No, it was not. Constantly in my pop reviews about how I really don't care much for these pop rides. When you receive a belated birthday gift, and this is what you get, especially if it's pop related, how can you say no? So yes, what you see here is my very first, and chances are probably not my last pop ride. If Funko ever made it, I would love a Mach 5 with Speed Racer because it is just so appropriate. So, I didn't get the Batmobile, nor did I get the DeLorean or the Ecto-1, but my good friend, who happens to be a co-worker, decided to give me the Turtle Van. Now, I have seen many reviews in regards to these pop rides, and they all say the same thing. The rides are really nothing special. The wheels don't move. It's literally a decorated piece of high-quality plastic. And that's pretty much what this is. I'm afraid that I'm going to break this damn thing if I actually drop it by accident, but I still cannot deny the details on this piece of plastic. I love the fact that it really is something that pays tribute to the Turtle Van from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's the 5th pop ride in the collection. The only thing I don't really like about this car in general is the fact that you get the Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo here on the spare tire case, when in fact it really should belong to the old school Ninja Turtles logo. But you know what? They're the company that owns the Ninja Turtles right now, etc. But I think the highlight, and what really makes this specific pop ride worthy of a purchase, is the pop itself. Because it is not one that can be purchased on its own. It is a special Michelangelo. I love the Ninja Turtles. It's one of my favorite all-time franchises, and I love the fact that this is Michelangelo holding a slice of pepperoni pizza. It's a great vinyl figure. The paint job is absolutely phenomenal. Even the facial expression is not the usual Michelangelo. As you would probably know, he has the full-on smile as his regular pop figure. And I think that's really what will do it, and I think that he's the reason why so many people will go out and buy the Turtle Van. And of course he has that little hole in the bottom of his foot, so it can go into the peg right over there, into the Turtle Van, and I'll just get a look at the backside for you. Again, the details are really good, I can't deny that, even though it is a cheap piece of plastic, but the only thing that really upsets me now is when I turn this box around, and I look at the back, and I see all of these pictures of all of these other Ninja Turtle figures. Do I dare go for the collection? Guys, I'm torn. Should I just stay and not even bother? Because I really didn't want to go for these, especially since I know that there's such a big collection, and just having this unique one is a great thing to have, but throw your comments in the box, guys. Should these guys be a part of my pop collection? Most of this video is really Disney, and today we're going to take a look at 3 Disney pops that are from Disney films that are not necessarily for children. They are Captain Jack Sparrow from, of course, the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, and Roger and Jessica Rabbit from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, directed by Robert Zemeckis. So why are these 3 pops in my collection? Well, let's start with Captain Jack Sparrow. When I was 3 years old, I was taken to Disney World for the first time in Florida, and believe it or not, Pirates of the Caribbean was one of the very first rides that I actually went on. So the ride was near and dear to my heart. When the movie was actually coming out, I mean, considering that it was the very first Disney film based on a ride, I was extremely skeptical, but this Gore Verbinski film turned out to be one of the coolest films I had ever seen, and considering its basis, I was very impressed. And of course, I had to at least have a pop in my collection that was some character that Johnny Depp played. When I take a look at Pirates of the Caribbean, this is one of my all-time favorite characters that Johnny Depp ever played, and the details on this pop are incredible. I also wanted to get him because when I found out, every time I saw him in stores, I always said, should I get him or shouldn't I? And then when I found out that so many Disney pops were basically getting retired, I said, you know something? I better get my hands on Captain Jack Sparrow. The details are phenomenal. From the garb that he's wearing, to the beads in his hair, to the detail on his pistol, and everything about this pop is just incredible. The dreads in the hair, it really is a great pop to go alongside a great actor and a really fun film. Now, as far as Roger and Jessica are concerned, first of all, if you don't like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, put your comment in the box below and tell me why, because I do happen to know maybe one or two that really don't care for this movie, and I don't understand why. It was a technological marvel, a landmark in filmmaking, and it was just cool to see all these great cartoon characters come together in a really well-done film. These are probably two of the best pops that I have ever seen. Roger Rabbit's pop is wonderful. The paint job is incredible. I love the floppy ears. I love the bigger than normal black Funko eyes. I love the patchwork on his tail and his overalls. I love the suspenders, the bow tie. Everything on this pop is beautifully done. He really is one of the best pops that I've ever seen, and I'm so proud to have him in my collection. Same thing goes for Jessica. I'm happy to say that this is the second female in my pop collection. You know, it can't just be a big sausage fest, but she's a lot more fragile, especially considering that she's the first pop that I have with a base, because most of these female pops have much smaller and slimmer bodies compared to their heads, but I love the details. The sparkles on her dress, the exposed leg with the one stiletto heel, the gloves, her microphone, the eyeshadow on her eye, and the earring, and all the way down to the way that her red hair flows. I absolutely love this pop, and I'm so glad that I got these two, because they are the two characters that I would love to have in my collection. Will there be a pop ride of Benny the Cab? That would be one that I'd be interested in, as long as he came with Eddie Valiant. You should have a different pop. Like the Turtle Van, the fact that they have a unique pop makes it more worthy of getting. And before I go, the other thing that I wanted to really show you was the improvements on the packaging. One of the things that I noticed in regards to the inserts that come with these pops is the fact that they now have these little grooves that snap closed, so they actually keep the pop in place. As you can see here, when you do this, you snap it like that, and the same thing goes to the bottom. Sorry for turning it around like this. It really fastens, and it keeps the pop in place from falling in and out of the box. So I think that that was a great touch that Funko actually added. So let's start this Funko Pop update with more specials because of other cons, including New York Comic Con. Here we go. The first one that I want to give you guys is a very interesting one. It is the very first special con-exclusive pop ride. It is the Slimed Ecto one from Toy Tokyo with a very unique pop, a Slimed Egon Spangler. Much like the Turtle Van, which is actually a Funko regular pop ride, the fact that they are actually including a different pop to go with this special pop ride gives a little bit more incentive to collectors to actually spend that $30 on that glorified piece of plastic, because everybody likes the fact that there's an opportunity to get a unique pop along with it, so why not? And even though I didn't get a good picture of it, there's also going to be a special Dragon Ball Z Vegeta on Arlia pop figure. If you remember Dragon Ball Z and you are a fan of the show, you remember that when Vegeta was first introduced in the beginning, he was a little bit off on the color scheme compared to the way he looked in the rest of the show. But I would have to say that the most interesting pop special is the Entertainment Earth glow-in-the-dark Super Saiyan Goku, just because of the fact that it's only the hair on the figure that glows in the dark. And I will admit, I had no intentions of picking up this specific pop, but I have to say that if I ever came across it for an affordable price, I would consider adding this Dragon Ball Z pop to my collection. Fugitive Toys and Hot Topic, of course, are always the ones that like to come along with specials, and I have to also intertwine this with the expansion of the Marvel and DC lines, because they are doing so many awesome things with these two franchises over at Funko. So let's take a look at the con exclusives first. Let's take a look at the Marvel ones. We are going to be getting a Frost Giant Loki. I also believe that somewhere out there's also going to be a black and white Loki from Thor, which I also think is very interesting. There's also going to be a special Deadpool, in which Deadpool is actually in blue, yellow, and black. But I'm also really happy to see that there is going to be a expansion of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and this is going to be a regular one. They're actually including Howard the Duck along with all the Guardians of the Galaxy villains. And some of these villains will include Nebula, Collector, and Thanos, of course, and if I do get some pics to show you in a future pop update, I will show them to you. But the fact that they are actually including Howard the Duck, say what you want about him, love the movie, hate the character, whatever it is, I'm just impressed to know that Funko is adding a obscure character into this Funko Pop line. And of course, there's also going to be some Hot Topic exclusives in another con. There's going to be a unmasked Captain America, not to be confused with the Winter Soldier Captain America. This is based on the original comic book version of Captain America, which was one of the early ones that was thrown in the Funko Marvel line. And there's also going to be a glow-in-the-dark Storm. Now, speaking of Storm, that was the big surprise. All of you X-Men fans rejoice. There's going to be an expansion of the X-Men line. I was quite surprised that Marvel only had very few X-Men in the line up until this point. All they had was Wolverine and Phoenix, I believe. I guess you could throw Deadpool in there if you want to, but now take a look at what's coming. You've got Storm, you've got Cyclops, you've got Magneto, you've got Mystique. I mean, I'm loving the fact that they are adding all of these characters and finally extending the X-Men line. I would love to see somewhere in the future a Nightcrawler, a Gambit, maybe a Iceman, Sabretooth. There's so many great X-Men characters, and people love the X-Men, so the fact that they're actually adding to this line with X-Men is great. So now let's move on to some more specials, but let's look at the DC ones. Fugitive Toys is giving us a Star Sapphire Wonder Woman. I love the fact that they're actually doing this because I'm glad to see that there's more lanterns that they're looking at besides Superman and Batman and what have you. So maybe now we'll finally get to see a yellow lantern Sinestro and maybe an orange lantern Lex Luthor. Throw your comments in the box below in regards to Lex Luthor. I know that Colts and Cubs fan discovered there's a Bizarro pop on the way, and that's great, but where is Lex Luthor? I don't care if it's an orange lantern Lex Luthor or a Lex Luthor in a business suit. Just throw your comments in the box below if you truly feel my pain as to why there is no Lex Luthor yet. And Target is even getting into the mix with specials by offering a Target exclusive unmasked Batman. Another Batman in the Funko Heroes collection, but Batman fans rejoice, go out and get it. But in regards to Batman, I would have to say that I'm glad to finally bring you guys some great glam shots of the entire Batman Arkham Asylum line, and even though I will not be getting these, I have to say that these are probably the most detailed pops that I have seen in the world of Funko comic book characters. The Batman with the grooves on the cowl and on his whole uniform look beautiful. The Joker and Harley Quinn are already out as pre-order specials in Hot Topic, and they look wonderful, but Poison Ivy and Killer Croc look great. I'm wondering if they were going to actually make some more Arkham Asylum-themed Batman characters, because these are the best ones in the world of Batman for Funko. The Batman is without a doubt the best one. Throw your comments if you disagree. Just in time for Halloween, there's actually going to be a special expansion on the Disney line with 2 Hot Topic exclusive Jack and Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas. It's always good to see expansions in the Disney line. If you haven't seen glam shots of the Jungle Book line and the Bambi and the Robin Hood line, they all look wonderful. And I've seen the Lion King and Beauty and the Beast pop lines in stores already, and they are amazing. Walmart, once again, getting into the pop game, is adding 2 more exclusives. A special Bumblebee, in which his arm is a rifle, and a Stinger, who is known as the wannabe Bumblebee from the Transformers Age of Extinction film. I'm not a big fan of the Transformers line. I don't know why they're planning on expanding, especially the movies, because I've heard the movie is terrible. I think I speak for everybody when I say we should see Transformers that are based on the 1980s cartoon. So let's take a look at some regular expansions to some sets. Finally, The Crow is coming out. I remember hearing about him in February. Now, the problem is I never seem to find an actual glam shot, just sketches, but he is coming out sometime in October and November. I don't know if it's going to look like this. I don't know if it's going to belong to a specific line or its own line, but I'm hoping that the Crow will finally get here, and Crow fans rejoice, go out and get it. The games line is adding Sockboy from Little Big Planet. If you're fans of the video game, I'm sure you'll want to add him to your collection, and I like the fact that he's another Pop with a mouth that smiles. I think that adding mouths to some of these Pop figures has definitely expanded the likability of Funko Pops, and it's gotten more people to go out and collect them, especially when you take a look at the Olaf Pop. I think that that is absolutely wonderful. So speaking of Olaf, Disney is finally giving us their Big Hero 6 line. There's going to be 2 6-inch Pops. Baymax, of course. I'm really excited to see this movie and see exactly what Baymax is like in the movie. You can get him in his red armor, but you can also get him in his puffy white marshmallowy look, which I think is adorable, and I am really looking forward to seeing how well this movie plays out, and I love the details on these Pops. I don't know if I will add these to my collection, but knowing me and knowing my girlfriend and knowing how much we loved the Frozen film, if Baymax turns out to be what I think he's going to be, I have a feeling there will be a Baymax in my collection in sight, and it will probably be my very first oversized Pop, so I am excited. Speaking about oversized Pops, I'm not showing you a picture, but there is going to be more Hobbits, especially with the Battle of the Five Armies on the way. You will get a Smaug, who's going to be an oversized Pop, but the fact that they are actually making Lord of the Rings Pops, finally, very happy to see that too. The Sauron is just the first. I don't know how many they're planning on making, but I am absolutely loving the details on Sauron. Forget the Arkham Asylum line, this may be the most detailed Pop that I have ever seen. I would consider getting this one in my collection if I wanted to, but I absolutely love the fact that they're finally adding Lord of the Rings to the Pop line, and that only makes me excited to see exactly what will be on the way in the future. And last but not least, I am a big fan of all the obscure Pop lines, especially things like Pop Rocks and Sports. So Pop Rocks is actually adding an additional Vocaloid, Megurine Luca. She's another member of the Vocaloid set, which of course is headlined by Hatsune Miku, and I have to give Funko props for the fact that they are actually making Pops based around these characters, because while they may be popular for some, they're not necessarily known by all. And I feel that if more people would look at these and go and try and hunt down some of the older Pops in the Pop Rocks line, because it's all about great music, I feel that this would really expand, because the sports one is already expanding a lot with the NFL line. So I'm really curious to see if people will actually get more interested in the Rocks line, especially now that they are incorporating music with the video games and the anime. I have a feeling that we will probably be seeing more interesting ones from the Pop Rocks line soon. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Please throw your comments in the box. Let me know what you're looking forward to seeing the most in the world of Funko Pops. Let me know how your collections are going. And I'm looking forward to coming back to you again very soon with another Pop update. I've already found out some interesting news in regards to certain Pops that are on the way, but I'm hoping that by the end of October, there will be plenty more. Thanks for watching as always, guys, and actions speak louder than words.